Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into one of the most shocking developments in recent international politics. The United States, under President Donald Trump, has just launched a major military strike on Venezuela, capturing Nicolás Maduro in what feels like a scene straight out of a Hollywood thriller. But this isn't fiction. It's real, and it's raising so many questions about Trump's intentions and his apparent eagerness to pull the trigger on this operation. Let's start from the beginning to really understand how we got here. Venezuela has been in turmoil for years, ever since Hugo Chavez passed the torch to Maduro back in 2013. The country spiraled into economic chaos, with hyperinflation, shortages of food and medicine, and a massive exodus of millions of people fleeing to neighboring countries like Colombia and Brazil. The root causes trace back to mismanagement, corruption, and heavy reliance on oil revenues, which tanked when global prices dropped. But Maduro's government clamped down hard, suppressing protests, rigging elections, and aligning with controversial allies like Russia, China, and Iran. This created a perfect storm for international intervention, especially from the US, which has long viewed Venezuela as part of its backyard under the Monroe Doctrine. Trump, during his first term, was vocal about Venezuela, calling Maduro a dictator and recognizing Juan Guaidó as the legitimate leader in 2019. He imposed crippling sanctions, cut off oil imports, and even hinted at military options, saying all options are on the table. But back then, he held off, maybe because of the complexities or domestic priorities like the 2020 election. Fast forward to now, in 2026, after winning back the White House, Trump seems more determined than ever. The strike happened on January 3rd, a lightning-fast operation involving airstrikes on Caracas, key military sites, and special forces raiding Maduro's compound. Trump announced it himself on Truth Social, boasting about capturing the tyrant and promising a second and much larger attack if needed. This eagerness jumps out at you, doesn't it? It's like he couldn't wait to act, almost as if this was a personal vendetta or a way to flex American muscle early on in his presidency. Trump reportedly discussed invading Venezuela with his advisors. According to Bob Woodward's book, he asked, "Why can't we just take them over?" citing the oil reserves. Venezuela has the world's largest proven oil reserves, over 300 billion barrels, and with global energy prices fluctuating, control over that could be a game changer for U.S. energy independence. Trump's intentions here seem tied to securing those resources, especially as he pushes his America First agenda. But there's more to it. Maduro's regime has been accused of narco-terrorism, harboring drug cartels, and even links to Hezbollah, which Trump has labeled as threats to U.S. national security. The Justice Department, under his first term, indicted Maduro on drug trafficking charges, offering a $15 million bounty. So this strike feels like settling old scores. But let's think about the hidden angles. Was this really just about justice or resources? Insiders suggest Trump was frustrated with the Biden administration's softer approach, which focused on negotiations and lifting some sanctions. That didn't topple Maduro. Instead, it allowed him to cling to power amid ongoing repression. Trump's eagerness might stem from wanting to project strength, especially after criticisms of weakness in Afghanistan and Ukraine under Biden. He wants to show that America is back and won't tolerate failed states on its doorstep, breeding instability. The effects of this attack are already rippling out. Immediately, Venezuela plunged into chaos, with reports of protests, clashes between Maduro's loyalists and opposition forces, and blackouts in Caracas from the bombings. Humanitarian-wise, it's heartbreaking. Thousands could be displaced again, and with the country's health system already collapsed, any escalation risks famine-like conditions. On the global stage, reactions are mixed. Close allies like Senator Lindsey Graham called it an amazing achievement, praising Trump for taking out a drug lord. But even some Republicans are whispering concerns about overreach without congressional approval. World leaders are divided. Colombia and Brazil, who host millions of Venezuelan refugees, expressed relief, but cautioned against prolonged occupation. Mexico condemned it as a violation of sovereignty, echoing sentiments from the UN where Russia and China blasted the US for imperialism. Putin even warned of consequences, hinting at increased support for anti-US regimes elsewhere. This could strain relations with Latin America, where anti-Yankee sentiment runs deep. Remember the pink tide of left-wing governments in the region? They see this as Trump reviving Cold War-era interventions, like in Panama when Bush Sr. captured Noriega in 1989. That operation was quick, but led to years of resentment. Similarly here, the public reaction in the US is polarized.
Trump's base is cheering, seeing it as a win against socialism and drugs. Polls show approval among Republicans, but Democrats and independents are wary, fearing another endless war like Iraq or Afghanistan. Protests erupted in major cities, with chants of no more interventions and questions about the cost to taxpayers. Emotionally, this hits hard, thinking about the Venezuelan people who suffered so much under Maduro. Freedom from his grip could mean elections, aid flowing in, and rebuilding. But if this turns into occupation, it might breed insurgency like we saw in the Middle East. Hidden angles also include Trump's personal style. He's always been impulsive, tweeting threats and acting on gut instincts. Reports say he overruled Pentagon advisors who wanted more diplomacy. His eagerness might be fueled by advisors like Pam Bondi, who pushed conspiracy charges against Maduro, or even business interests tied to oil lobbies globally. This sets a precedent. If the US can strike and capture a leader unilaterally, what's stopping China from doing the same in Taiwan or Russia in Ukraine? It erodes international law and the role of the UN, potentially leading to a more volatile world order. Looking ahead, the future possibilities are uncertain. If Maduro is tried in New York as Trump suggested, it could deter other dictators. But Venezuela needs a transition plan. Will the US install a puppet government, or support Juan Guaido or someone new? There's talk of a multinational force to stabilize, but with Russia and Iran involved, they might arm rebels, prolonging conflict. On the positive side, if handled right, this could end the humanitarian crisis, allowing refugees to return and oil to flow, stabilizing energy markets. But Trump's intentions seem more about quick wins than long-term peace. His eagerness risks blowback, like terrorist attacks on US soil, or cyber retaliation from Maduro's allies. We've seen how these things spiral. Ultimately, this is a reminder of how one man's decisions can reshape the world. Let's hope for the sake of the Venezuelan people and global stability that this leads to real change, not more suffering. Thanks for watching. If you found this analysis insightful, hit that like button, subscribe for more deep dives into global events, and share your thoughts in the comments. What do you think were Trump's real intentions here? Stay informed, stay engaged, and I'll see you in the next video.